Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am taking one for the team. I have felt so personally attacked by this brand and the amount of sponsored posts I have been getting for them. So there's this brush brand and they are called Anisa Beauty. They basically have a few makeup brushes and then they have a bunch of skincare brushes and they have like one of those like little facial cleaner things. So I recently heard about them. I went on their Instagram page. I kind of creeped a little bit. I saw the price. I was like, no, not for me. And I went on my merry way. And I kid you not, every single day since then, I have got a sponsored post from them. And every single time it's Rose and Ben. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. I'll leave her Instagram right here. She does really beautiful makeup and she basically swears by these brushes. She calls them magic wands. She calls them magic, just amazing. Says that they're like some of the brushes she uses every single day, no matter what. Like you go through her tutorials, you constantly see these makeup brushes. So slowly the interest grew more and more and more. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take one for the team. Even though these are pretty pricey, I'm a little bit like, ugh, when I think about the price, but I did find a 15% off code and I thought, you know, I bought them so you guys don't have to, but you might want to if they are as amazing as they're supposed to be. Here is the little set that I picked up. I got their Present and Perfect brush set with free makeup bag. Yay, free makeup bag, even though the brushes are $98. I wish I was kidding. Okay, so there's 3 makeup brushes. This is all of the makeup brushes that they offer in their line is just these 3 right now, and they do feel super high quality. So there is the Pinnacle foundation brush, which retails for $30, and it's just a very dense, soft foundation brush. Looks super, super nice. The feeling of the brushes feels high quality. They've got a little bit of weight to them. They're very, very pretty, so they do have that going for them. And then I also have the multi-powder brush, which retails for $40. This is actually a really interesting powder brush because it's very one-sided, and I feel like I guess that could be good for like packing powder on, but I don't really pack powder on. I think I saw a tutorial where Rose used it like this for bronzer if I remember correctly, so got that one. And then the other one is the angled concealer brush, and this one's probably the most intriguing to me. It retails for $28 and it's just super dense and it's supposed to be able to get right in there where you need to conceal, and it feels extremely, extremely soft. I'm going to read off their website to let you know some details about the brand in general because like I said, I really haven't heard many people speak about them, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. Definitely check out their website if you want to hear more in depth. So they say, what touches your face matters, and we take seriously our role in leading the way to positive change in the beauty industry and beyond. Creating better products means less waste, cleaner productions, and safe and supportive working conditions. We own our manufacturing facility and have full control over our supply chain and process from conception to your hand. This translates to you knowing where and how your brushes were made. Every brush is PETA certified, cruelty-free, and sustainably made by the global Anisa team. Led by beauty pioneer Anisa Kiker, the Anisa Beauty team brings more than 25 years of experience at the forefront of cosmetic brush manufacturing and design. Okay, I thought it'd be fun before we do each brush to just put the advertisements that I've been seeing just so you guys can see the level, the expectancy that I have right now. So let's start off with the foundation brush.
So we're going to grab my favorite brush ever. This one is it. It is magic. I call it my magic wand. This is the Anisa Beauty Pinnacle foundation brush, and we're just going to go ahead and grab a small amount. And what you're seeing me do here is I'm just making sure that it's completely even all over the brush. You can just see such an airbrushed finish on this side, that brush. It leaves no streaks and it just presses and melts that foundation into your skin.
Okay, so those two didn't show her applying the foundation, but she basically says in another video that I watched, a different sponsored one. Like I said, I've been attacked. She basically says that you're supposed to just like press it into the skin. Almost it makes me think of like what you would do with a sponge rather than like normally I would do this kind of motion. So I did go ahead and pull out 2 different types of foundation to give this a really good try. So I've got my favorite, well, one of my favorite stick foundations. This is Juvia's Place Stick Foundation in the shade Nicaragua. And then I also have my IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus, the longest name ever foundation, which I have the shade Fair, and I figured I would try a liquid and a stick because I use stick foundations all the time, so I'm not really sure how like this pressing in motion is going to work when it comes to stick foundation because you kind of have to blend it in a bit. I already went ahead and primed my skin with the Glossier Prime Moisturizer Rich. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap that in. Okay. So, I mean, I guess it is like blending a tiny bit, but as I suspected with a stick foundation, you just have to, like, you have to move the brush. You can't just tap it. I don't really like stick foundations with sponges either. So, that actually is blending nice. Looks very smooth. Doesn't look cakey, but I mean, the foundation is already a good foundation to begin with. I mean, I think that blended in pretty good. It is very soft, but I'm not like, wow, that's the craziest foundation brush ever, because I have plenty of other brushes that look the exact same with this kind of foundation, but I'm really curious to see how it looks with the liquid. So I'm just going to go ahead and do like half a pump. Get it all evenly on the brush like I never would. And then I'm just going to go ahead and tap that into my skin. It's giving me light coverage. It's keeping the dewiness of that foundation. Kind of just looks like I had used a wet sponge. So it looks nice, but I feel like it's kind of hard to stipple in this area. Like it doesn't quite perfectly fit that crevice. So I'm going to go into a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good like that, actually. Maybe you just need to have a bit more product. I feel like I'm not sold on the brush. I like it. It looks pretty on the skin, but I don't know if it's like anything super special. I feel like I could get the same exact effect with my Real Technique sculpting brush, which is one of my favorite foundation brushes. It's very soft, very dense, and I feel like you can do basically the exact same motions and everything with this one, and this is way less. I mean, it looks nice. I'll use it. It's not like a bad brush, but I was expecting a little bit more like of a wow factor. So now let's go ahead and do some concealer, and I've got some videos here.
Grabbing my Anisa Angle Concealer Brush, we're just going to start to tap this in. And I want you to see just a little bit of concealer with this brush and this tapping motion. That's all we're going to need. Look at that. If we had put on an entire triangle, we'd be swimming in it right now. You just don't need that much, I promise.
Alright, so with concealer, she's obviously just tapping in again, and she's tapping so lightly. I'm going to follow her little steps here, and I'm just going to use a tiny bit of concealer. Not going to do a full triangle. Not trying to swim today, so just going to use a little bit, and we can see. Alright, so I'm just going to tap. I feel like I have no patience for this kind of thing. Like, just lightly tapping. I'm like such a rush person that I'm like, and go. But I do feel like that looks super high coverage. So I feel like that blended out relatively smooth. It doesn't look cakey or anything. Looks pretty nice underneath the eye. So I think underneath the other eye, I'm going to use like the same exact amount. But I think I'm going to switch up my technique a little bit. And I'm just going to slide rather than tap so much and just see what that looks like. And see if it's a bit faster. And I'm kind of sliding and tapping at the same time, and I feel like it looks either the same or better. So that definitely was a bit faster than sitting here and like doing this kind of motion. So I feel like it looks pretty much the same with both techniques. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit and just do some concealing on my face wherever I need it. See, that could be really good for getting right in that crevice there too. I feel like I'm really impressed with this one. I feel like that actually did a pretty good job on my nose of giving me coverage without it looking cakey, which is definitely one of my problem areas because my nose is always the driest area of my face. I do think it worked really good as a concealer brush. Really like that one so far. So now we're gonna go ahead and set, and this one makes me laugh. Let's just watch.
So I've picked up a pink powder right here on my brush, and we're just going to start to press that in underneath the eye. The shape of this brush just fits in here and really gives you the ability to press that powder into your concealer. You can see how much more evident my shadows are here and how they've almost disappeared on this side where we set it.
Okay, so this one, I don't know why, it just made me laugh because for one, this brush is gigantic, so setting underneath the eyes and saying like it fits perfectly under here just makes me laugh. I'm going to use a powder that I have been loving lately. Like I don't want to use any other powders. This is the Give Me Glow powdered sugar baking powder, and I'm just going to take a little bit and we're going to put just a bit of powder underneath my eyes. I don't like to go in with too much because I have dry skin, but we're going to see how this brush I would never ever set underneath my eyes with, sets underneath the eyes. Okay, I promise there is powder on that brush even though you can't see it. So this side is obviously set and this side isn't. I feel like there's a slight difference, but it really just has to do with the powder. I don't feel like it has anything to do with the brush. The brush is just way too big for that area. It just feels ridiculous. I'm going to try it with a different powder and see if we can set all over the face, but let me just go ahead, get real uncomfortable again and set underneath here. Technically works if you were like in a rush and you only owned like 3 brushes, but I just feel like it's quite uncomfortable underneath the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and grab a bit more of a glowy setting powder and pack that onto the brush. Just tap off the excess and let's see. I mean, it does feel really soft and smooth on the skin. I feel like it's not the type of brush where if you're setting your full face like this where it's going to disturb the foundation or anything like that. So in theory, it's nice if you do like a really nice fluffy powder brush. It fits around the curves of the face great. I'm going to go ahead and use my Fenty Beauty Into Sun bronzer, which just looks like this. And I'm going to bronze my face. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw her do it with using like this side of the brush. So I'm going to pick up a generous amount and then just start bronzing. Oh yeah, okay. Actually, I really like the shape there for that. I feel like you can kind of get it exactly where you want it, but it looks very soft and diffused right away. That's what they should focus on. Not setting under the eyes, bronzer. Yeah, that's just blending so nice. Let's see how this does, bronzing around the forehead. It could be good for that as well. It's just so soft. Okay, why am I falling in love with this brush? I'm just kind of flipping it back around and blending over, and honestly, I feel like it looks so smooth and seamless on the skin. It's kind of ridiculous. Figured we could go ahead and quickly finish up my face. Just gonna kind of snap through it so you can see what's going on today. So I want to go ahead and use my Faded Clementine Duo from M Cosmetics. So I wanted to like kind of build an orangey look around that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the blush in Faded Clementine first, and I'm just gonna pop that onto my cheeks. For my eyes today, I'm going to grab my Dose of Color Sassy Sienna's palette, and I'm going to just take this lightest peachy tone right here. Just going to throw that through the crease. I'm also taking a little bit of that shade along the lower lash line. Alright, now I'm going to take a touch of this richer warm shade right here, and I'm just very lightly applying that to my outer V just for a little bit of definition. I didn't even use an eye primer today, so try not to judge that too much, but I'm going to go ahead and take my Kristen Lee Cosmetics Glimmer Gel in the shade Epiphany, which is a really beautiful kind of like pinky golden shade. It's like a peach. And I'm going to pop that all over my lid. And then I'm going to take the Glimmer Gel in the shade Typical, and I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner. This one has a bit more of a golden shift to it. It's very pretty. Alright, really quickly, I'm going to throw on some brown liner and some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, for highlighter today, I'm going to go into my Nomad Cosmetics Disco Nights highlighter, which is the prettiest peachy gold tone, and throw it on my cheekbones. So pretty. And then for my lips, like I said, I'm going to go into Faded Clementine, the liquid lipstick from M Cosmetics. Okay, so this is the finished look. I love how it turned out. I feel very orangey and peachy right now. I feel like it's a vibe. And I am wearing a hoodie because that's who I am. But let's go ahead and talk about the brushes. So far, I would say my favorite one is definitely the concealer. I really like this. I feel like it kind of gives a beauty blender look without having to actually get up, go to your sink, wet a beauty blender, come back. So I do really like this one. I feel like it really fits right in there, and I don't really have a bunch of creasing or anything. I think it blended the concealer really nice. Like I said, you can do that stipple motion, or you can kind of stipple and like slide at the same time. You can swipe. swiping and swiping, but you can swipe with this. So overall, this is the most unique brush that I'm adding into my collection out of these 3. And then I also surprisingly really like the powder brush. I rarely ever buy big powder brushes anymore just because I have so many of them. Like, hello, I need help. This one actually does feel like it's a pretty unique shape, and I really like how softly diffused my bronzer ended up looking with this. And then you can flip it around and just completely blend it, and it just looks so natural. Even though it was a splurge, I'm glad that I tried it. And then as far as the foundation brush goes, I feel like it's nice. Like, I do like the overall finished look, but I just don't feel like it's that unique. I have so many other foundation brushes that I feel like give me the same effect. I really like the Real Techniques one. I also really like this one that I have from Tarte, which I don't think it's available anymore. It's just that really, really dense foundation brush that blends things in so well. So this one, although I like it, I just feel like it's not that unique. But then again, I'm gonna keep trying it, try with different foundations, see if it makes my more full coverage things look less cakey and more airbrushed and all the claims that it seems to have. But right now, I don't know if I would call this magic. I'm sorry. I do want to say just one more thing, which is that even though I've been joking about the price this whole time, obviously price, value, how long something lasts, how good of a job it does is relative to each and every single person. But I will say that the fact that they have their own lab, the fact that they're completely manufacturing these themselves, I'm sure that's a very expensive process. And I can imagine that's why the brushes cost more, is because they're not outsourcing. They're not taking like some wholesale mold and putting their name on it. Like, this is a completely unique product to them, and they're doing it all themselves. And like they said, they are PETA certified, they are synthetic fibers, and the actual brushes do feel very good quality. So that's something to keep in mind. I think it is cool to know that when you're doing this, you're supporting a small brand, and also it's good working conditions, it's safe working conditions, whereas sometimes brands that you don't really know what they're doing behind the scenes, it can feel like, where is my money even going to? What am I supporting that I don't even know I'm supporting? So I do like that aspect of these brushes. And that is everything for today's video. I would love to know if you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe. Sometimes I've got to learn to slow down. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit subscribe before you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.